With the United Nations Cancun conference recently closed, Professor Anil Markandya, member of the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, spoke to EFE in Vigo, Spain on Monday about the summit, its effectiveness, successes, failures, how to share the burden, the myths of climate change, and even the boycott of the Nobel Prize ceremony by several countries in support of China.
Yes, I think so. I think the summit is not the best way to achieve agreements. You cannot have 200 countries all negotiating together. So everything, you need to have most of the agreement made in advance, and then the summit is just the occasion to formalize and to sign the accord. The agreements cannot be made in this kind of structure. The Cancun meeting started out with very low expectations, and it achieved it by the end more than most people expected. So in that sense it was a success. It was a success that they managed to achieve a statement on which every country except Bolivia was in agreement. Yes, there was no target, no agreed reduction targets. That was the big failure, but that remains the problem, and of course we don't know whether we will be able to achieve the required reduction to maintain the objective of stabilization of emissions and keeping the temperature to maybe 2 to 2.5 degrees increase. That is what we still need to work at the next meeting in Durban in South Africa. That remains an issue, because the big question is how will we share the burden of the reduction. We believe that it can be done. I think that the kinds of reduction we need requires countries like India, China, Brazil to also reduce emissions. Otherwise we will not achieve the target. But we can move in that direction. We are going slowly, but I think we are going in the right direction. Well, the big certainty is that we are having climate change, and that climate change is caused by anthropogenic factors, by human beings. That, I think, now is as close to certainty as we can ever be. Although there are still people who don't believe that. There are still people who question it. The big myths are that the costs of taking action are huge. The big myth is that if we don't do anything, there may even be advantages to having climate change. This is not true. That if we don't take action, there could be some very serious consequences. Oh, I think that was wrong. I think that the Nobel Committee, with great care, chose to give this man a prize for his stand and his stand on human rights, and it seems to me that it was not appropriate for countries to boycott that ceremony.